It's just lifelong slavery, bro. And you consider property.
Is she gonna interrupt me though? Cause I can't say
we can
shit
just
without
move.
interrupting.
Yeah, you're treated as personal property. And it's lifelong. And your children born into it. They don't really practice slavery like that. Yeah, they don't really practice it that way on the other side of the world. Go ahead, Danny. You don't have to. I just gave it to you, GOP. Go ahead, Danny.
Yeah. And so like when you talk about chattel slavery, you say it's not attached to the boats, you have to understand that the minute it started as soon as they grab people, as soon as they determine that you are no longer a human being, that you are property, and so are your children. It does not matter if you are on a boat, if you are on a plane, if you are swimming across that bitch, you are in chattel slavery. And it's important when you start to have a conversation about reparations and chattel slavery that you even know what you are talking about and can define it.
Now this is disingenuousness at its finest. It's Hall of Fame level, all right? Because the conversation that me and you was having, Caso, is that I said pertaining to reparations in America, that you shouldn't get it simply because of being on the boat, all right? I said that you should get it based off of chattel slavery and what happened afterwards. And her argument is her trying to tell me that I said, which I didn't say, that the transatlantic slave trade has nothing to do with a boat. There's nothing I said, bro. Like, this is what I mean by people.
You said chattel slavery don't have nothing to do.
So I mean, all of it matter, bro. All of it matter.
So here's where we go, and it make me confused on where we're here to have a real conversation. Cause just like you said, we all know that we're being compensated for free labor and atrocities that happen afterwards. All right. When you're on that boat, there is no free labor. There is no free labor. And when I'm talking about reparations, I'm talking about within the United States. Y'all want to talk about that African case. I ain't spoke about the African case. I ain't trying to bring that up. I'm talking about over here in America, bro. So can y'all tell me why? Can y'all tell me why you guys have anything against lineage-based reparations? Can anybody tell me that?
Nobody. We gotta stop doing it. Nobody up here said they have anything against lineage-based reparation. Now the claim is this: if your lineage trace you back to Africa and you were bought here, your claim is chattel slavery and unforced labor. If your job don't pay you, you don't come back and say, you know what? You can pay me in land. Yeah, you can pay me in acres. That's not how you paid out on a service. You're not paid out on labor unless that's the specific agreement. It ain't often you're gonna be paid out on labor and land. So this reparations argument, this shit, you gotta understand one thing, bro. We just black folk on TikTok having conversations. These white folks gonna twist and turn and pretzel themselves. They gonna squeeze every ability or every ounce of anything they can out of this shit in terms of debunking it. So what would your claim be if you're not saying you're indigenous to America, if you're not Native American? You don't have a claim to actual land in America because it's not your land. And if you're indigeneity, they trace you back to Africa and they brought you here from your native land to America to do work in America. How can your claim be land? You want to be paid out on labor and land? It's just as if we want reparations as a black American collective, we need to get on one accord in terms of what the story is and what our legal claim is. It's all over the place. You know, half of the FBA leaders saying this, half of the FBA leaders saying that. We saying unforced labor and child slavery is our claim to reparations, but we asking to be paid out in land. I never seen a motherfucker work a job and get paid in 2 acres. We hadn't really locked in together as a unit to make a reparations claim, in my opinion. And we pushing it back against the...
Oh, no. We're listening to Queso.
They are saying we've had artifacts taken from us, we've had resources taken from us, and we've had people taken from us on the west coast of Africa. Danny, go ahead. You can finish speaking if you need to. And GLP, you can respond to Danny if you need to.
Yeah, so GOP, just so we are clear, the forced labor did actually even start on boats. Even though the majority of the folks on the boats were human cargo, who do you think that they tasked with throwing the waste and the human beings off the cargo? Who do you think that they, assigned all of those tasks to on the boats? It wasn't the white people. It was it actually started on the boats, right? So just to be clear about that, it's really important. The only thing I really want to know before I leave this panel is when you're going to bring your disingenuous ass to my panel for a one-on-one. That's all I want to know. Or when you going to stay the fuck out my live. One of the two. Which one?
Danny came here on big business, man. She need an answer, GOP. She here on business, man.
Hey, shout out to Miss Danny. I love my Black American women.
No, the hell you don't. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing it one-on-one, day and time, or when you stay in the fuck out my live. I'm not doing it.
You see,
I'm not doing it. You be out these TikTok streets in my live every damn day, running your mouth, and I invite you to the panel every damn day.
My grandma, my mama, stop trying to tell me how to answer your
I don't care.
Okay, if you don't care, then stop asking me the question. Just say you don't fuck with me.
Well, just say you gonna stay out of her life, dude. That's how she giving you an ultimatum.
Yeah, I mean, either man up or stay the fuck home. Do one of the two, but stop crying.
So you gonna be in her, you gonna be back in her live tomorrow.
I'm bumping down some more. Yeah, I ain't been off in there about a week, fool.
Lies your ass tell.
Hold on.
Just so you know, my mom's gonna screenshot your ass. Come tomorrow because you've been in there for the past 3-4 days.
Lady,
so if you come on, I'm telling you.
I haven't been in your live since I've been off from work.
The lies
I've
you
been
tell.
out from work from a week.
It's Sunday,
got out
Ninja.
last week.
It is
I ain't
Sunday.
been
You
in
gonna
your
straighten
live
up.
while I've been at home, lady.
So GOP, listen.
Like you ain't got no emotion
Stop
like
whining.
that. Like you
like
ain't
a little baby. You either
like
gonna
you
come in
speaking
my
about
room and get on the
NBA is
panel.
like
You
small
either gonna
fry
come in
shit,
my
you know
room
what
and
I'm
get on the
saying?
panel and man
I
the
wouldn't even
fuck
pull
up.
up to your
Or you gonna shut up and go home.
One second, y'all. GOP, you really pressing the black women on here? You got a black woman coming up here chasing you down because you pressing her. God damn, boy.
Nah, what it is, bro, they really be flirting with me, bro. They just mad on my
Nobody
They don't even know how you
Yes.
look. They don't know how you look.
They didn't know what time it is.
They flirt with Ash out Pokemon.
Nice steak dinner.
That's not you. That's Ash out Pokemon. They flirt with Ash out Pokemon.
Man, them screenshots been floating around. Been floating around, bro. Motherfucker know who I am,
they like what they see.
Come on now.
Man,
They don't see him because his ass running the chat and leave.
Man,
they don't see
he
him.
look like Steph Curry. I tell you what he look like, Steph.
Well, I don't even like light skin, so go on somewhere with
He
that.
look like Hispanic Steph Curry though. He kind of look Mexican with his Steph Curry.
That's why they don't like themselves sometimes. That's what that is. That's that
He ain't
self-hate. You're strong as fuck.
He ain't Steph Curry. He's Steph Fajita. Yeah, he's Steph Fajita.
That's safe when you come to the panel.
Stephon Calvin.
Steph Fajita.
Steph Cooney.
Go ahead.
But
Hey,
you
man,
GOP,
you watching film on
one-on-one, day
Jalen
and
Brunson.
time.
Danny, I'm gonna set it up for you,
Nah,
Danny. I
Danny.
got you. I want to get Finney here. Danny, I got you.
Appreciate it.
I'll set
What
it
up,
up for
Finney?
you. I got you. I'll bait him in. I got him. I get him over there, Danny. Go ahead, Finney.
It's great being back up in the panel. I really appreciate everybody having me up here, especially you, Castle. Thank you. What's really interesting is that I understand.
Finney, can y'all spam this Steph Fajita for me? Tacos in the chat for Steph Fajita, man. Go ahead, Finney. Go ahead,
or you can use tahini. You use tahini. That's what we use on the rim for the spice margaritas. Anyways, so you're right, Casso. Nobody up here actually is against reparations. The only one, ironically enough.
Tacos in the chat.
Oh, wait. Y'all hear me? Sorry. So you're okay. Cool. The vote that you placed for the president of the United States currently is a vote away from the reparations. That's the reason as to why the United States is one of 3 countries that of reparations in the UN. That's also the reason as to why he's trying to redefine the 14th Amendment, specifically when it comes to the naturalized and born portions of the citizens. Further strip away the VRA and slowly going to the civil rights to this point, because that's what's next for this administration. So I understand that the reparations is what you're looking for. Trust me, I want that to happen for the United States of
Trying to
America,
get this
for people
recording.
that suffered through slavery, that suffered through chattel and transatlantic slavery. Absolutely. But the idea that this president and this administration is going to be the one to do it, it's false. It's a fallacy. It's a lie. It was never going to happen. This administration doesn't want you to have that. This administration doesn't want you to have your cake and eat it too. Absolutely not. They want your vote, and that's it. That's why you see the Louisiana district getting completely thirded and stripped away because of the VRA being undermined again in this lifetime. So I get it. I can hear the passion that GOP is saying, Casso. I really do. But he's looking in the wrong direction for this.
Yeah, I mean, GOP. I know GOP want the best of black folks. He just willing to try to make a damn deal with the Klan, and that's where I don't agree with him. At. He think that white Klansmen.
Garvey did it. Shit, I can't be like Garvey.
You're not nothing close to Garvey. You closer to Steve Harvey than Marcus Garvey with your fun ass.
Respectfully, Councilman, one more thing before I go, because I got to get ready for a wedding. The problem is that FBA right now and for a while will not have any sort of political power when it comes to this government. You don't have any sort of pull or push when it comes to what you want to get done in this country. If you think conservatives are going to look at FBA and say, hey, you guys want some rights and you want your reparations to be done, yeah, we'll get that taken care of for you. It's a joke. Conservatives don't want that. Conservatives want less government. Conservatives want more money in their pockets. Conservatives only care about the bottom dollar, which is in their pockets specifically. And on top of that, the fact that you again voted against progression when I've shown it many times before on this live, the Biden-Harris administration has been the one that's been the most progressive, especially for Black Americans in this country. It's such a farce. It's such a joke. It's a laughing stock at this point.
You know what else, Finny? Thanks. Y'all follow me. Follow this page. If you're not following this page, follow this page. Two things. I'm about to release y'all back out to the TikTok streets and let y'all deal with all these deranged conversations that are being had. Two things. First thing, Bridge Party t-shirts available. If you don't have a Bridge Party t-shirt, just hit the link in my bio. You can purchase a Bridge Party t-shirt, Black and Brown Unity t-shirt. Contributions for this design release is going to go towards young Black and Brown men. I'm trying to help 5 or 6 young Black and Brown youth get a vending machine business going. They'll probably be under the age of 18, so I'm gonna have to work with the parents to get it done. I'm looking for, if you know anybody who's interested, they'll have to have the location already scouted, whoever owned the business, or maybe something like an apartment building. They'll have to already have the okay on having a vending machine placed there. If they can do that, then I'll deal with the part, my end of it, which will be actually purchasing the vending machine for them. Again, young Black men, brown men as well. And white men, because a nigga might try to sue me, even though I don't like your chances of getting approved. You can apply as well. And we're going to try and get that done. Link in bio for the new t-shirts. Also, if you ain't subscribed to the YouTube channel, link in the bio for the YouTube channel as well. That don't cost you anything. If you can't buy a t-shirt tonight, that's fine. But you can subscribe to the YouTube. You can put a thumbs up on a YouTube video or drop a comment on a YouTube video. So 2 things I need y'all to do for me tonight. YouTube link in bio. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube. And also take a look at the website and see if there are any t-shirts on the website that you like, because that's going to go towards this the next phase of my Business Boost initiative. And again, in that phase, I'm looking at young men who are trying to get started in the business world, looking to get them a vending machine or maybe 2. We'll see how they go. Y'all, my stomach growling like hell, so no closing statements tonight. Side, y'all let you say something. But GOP, appreciate it, bro. I'm going to drop you down. Abba, appreciate it, drop you down. Danny, I appreciate you. I'll get that set up so GOP can stop ducking that smoke. And also, Danny, tomorrow you can come up towards the end of the conversation if you want to, so you can share the information.
I got you. Awesome. Appreciate you, cousin.
Yeah. Tomorrow.
What's up, man?
Hello?
Would you? Yeah, what's up? What'd you say about the background, or what's wrong with it?
Yeah, bro. Why do you have a black woman with the Mexican flag on there?
You don't know black people live in Mexico? You don't know about the Afro
Hey, some,
Indigenous?
yeah, a little, yeah, like
Yeah.
a
So what's
percentage
wrong with it?
that big.
It doesn't matter. You
Well,
got different races in Mexico. You got different demographic. Mexico's a nationality. I don't know if you knew that.
it is a nationality, but you have to remember
Okay.
that the majority of Mexico is not black. It's mestizo.
Well, mestizo also included black in there. It wasn't just half
No,
Spanish and
mestizo.
half
No,
indigenous. It was
mestizo
also
does not include black.
Africans that got to Mexico in the 1400s, brought by the
Yeah, I know,
Spanish.
but
There was more
yeah, but
there were more Africans than Spanish people when they arrived there. So guess who mixed?
no, actually, there weren't. There was more in that area. You're talking about Veracruz, right?
Yeah, Oaxaca, Veracruz,
Yeah,
all
well,
that
that's
stuff.
just a portion because there were Spanish all over Mexico.
No.
So
They were
they,
just all
there was more.
indigenous. Before the Spanish
No,
got there,
wait
it
a
was
minute.
mostly indigenous.
Yes, there was mostly indigenous, but
Okay.
the minority were whites and blacks.
No, that part you got wrong, Jen.
What do you mean I got it wrong?
There was more black slaves there that repopulated before the Spanish got before they were able to bring more people over. So it started with
What it's not,
majority black, Africans and indigenous people mixing.
well, no,
I
I have to
can
disagree
I can pull
because
up a source. I can pull up something for you.
well, the reason I disagree, bro, because Mexico had like a shit ton of indigenous people, not just the Aztecs. There was just all over like Mexico, you know. Like, even to this day,
I get
there's, like,
that part.
yeah, so
I
you're
get
saying
that
that they're a
part.
minority. You know, they outnumber black people in Mexico, the indigenous
Who
people.
do the Spanish or the No, I get that part. I definitely understand that part.
No, the indigenous people and
You
the
said
Spanish, both.
You said mestizos though, Jen. You said mestizos outnumber,
Well, I know, but well, I'm saying because
and
mestizo does not.
that could be true now. But
Man, hold on,
you
bro. Can
know,
I finish, man?
yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
Mestizo does not include African. Mestizo means white and I mean Spanish and indigenous. That's what mestizo means. It doesn't include black people.
I'm sure a lot of them. If the one drop rule was in Mexico, they'd all be black, just like the biracials over here, and the
Yeah, well, that's the one drop.
triracials, and
I
all
mean,
the
anyone could
admixtures.
be
You
one
know,
drop.
and
They
then they
could.
tried to
That's like
wipe out.
saying,
They try, like mejorar la raza, all that stuff. So el
all right, but do you have
blanqueamiento.
a problem with? I don't know, but
You
I'm
have a
asking, do you
problem
have a
with
problem
black
with?
people representing Mexico. You have a problem with black Mexicans
No,
representing
yeah, no,
Mexico.
they don't. I mean, I don't have a problem with that, but just they don't
You
represent
do.
Mexico. They represent
Okay,
some of
well,
it, not all of it.
that's your opinion. That's your opinion. So
No, that's the truth,
represent
bro.
what race?
Like
What race should?
even the government of Mexico, they acknowledge the Native American, you know, the indigenous person. They don't have a black person in there.
They
They
acknowledge
acknowledge
the
the
Afro. They do acknowledge the Afro Indigenous. Now
yeah,
they
but
do.
they don't.
They didn't. They didn't before, right? So guess how much erasure was happening, Jen?
Right, they do acknowledge it now, but I mean, everybody knows that the heroes of Mexico mostly were mestizo or indigenous. You know, one of them was an Afro
Vicente
American.
Guerrero. What was that?
He was
Who
just
was
one
that?
person. Everybody that was
And
one
then
guy
we're not
though.
even talking about all the migrations from, African Americans that came down to Mexico, right?
Right, but you mentioned Vicente Guerrero before you mentioned Miguel Hidalgo or Guadalupe Hidalgo. I mean, you know, he was before the Vicente Guerrero. He's the one who helped, you know, gain independence. It was a mestizo.
Okay.
Vicente
Okay, but
Guerrero came after him.
I'm totally fine with Lupita. Lupita, right? She's Mexican herself, right? She has Kenyan
Lupita
parents,
who?
but she was born in Mexico. No me acuerdo
Migayu
su,
or something like that.
yeah, I don't remember her last name right now. Let me
Yeah,
see.
yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
But what
So that
about
hmm
but what about Salma something like that? She's half Lebanese or half Arab and half Mexican.
I'm Afro Indigenous and I am African. You know what I mean? So I'm here. I'm
Right.
sticking it to the MAGAs and these fucking FBAs that
Oh yeah,
talk
but like
nothing but
the
shit
question I
on
had in the background, like, yeah, this is all evolved because I had a question about your panel, bro. Like, I disagree that the
I don't have
Mexican
any. I don't
person
have
that
any
you had.
questions. Oh my god.
I mean, your background, like, it shouldn't be a black woman. It should be like a
Look,
Mexican mestizo.
that's your, a black woman can be a Mexican woman, Jen. That's what you don't get when we say American,
but
right, Jen? When we say American, who should be the face of America? You see what I'm saying?
Whoever does the right
No,
thing.
no. You see how you deviated there? Now it's a
Well, what do you
moral
want me to
issue.
say, bro? Why?
Now it's a moral issue. Now it's
I mean, no, it's not, bro. It just I think you have a problem with
So
me
you
saying
have a
that black people,
preference. You have a preference. I have a preference. I
bro.
think everybody's has a right to that preference. You know. Because how about this, Jen? How about if someone
Right.
wanted? How about if someone just wanted to put an indigenous person there,
That'll be
or
cool. That'll make more sense.
or how about if they just put a Spanish person?
That'll also make sense because Spanish
No,
helped the indigenous people.
no. See, but
What
those
do
are
you
your
mean, no,
preferences, and
bro?
I'm
Do you
totally
know
fine if
Mexico's
you make a
history?
background with the type of person you want to see there. But that's the one I want to see. That's the one I want to. That's the one I want the
I
face
see.
of
Now,
Mexico to
now
be.
I hear you, bro. Yeah. So yeah, this is all about you. I guess. No, I get it, bro. I get it.
It
Makes
is.
you
It's
feel
my,
better. It makes you
it's
sleep
my
better at
panel. You
night.
feel me? And this
Oh,
would
I
get
see. I
more
see.
exposure for Black people in Mexico, while you were trying to essentially erase them. Essentially, say that they're such a
I
small,
wouldn't.
minute.
Not that.
Well, come on now. Well,
Not,
then
not
let me
erasing.
represent.
They're
Let me
not.
represent them.
I know there's black people in Mexico, man. I mean, they're doing good. They have their own communities and all that.
They
But
influence music, culture, food, just like the
what?
Black
So do Spanish
Americans.
people. Bro.
Yeah, but they did it more with a colonizing kind of fist. You feel me? It was forced.
See, no, it's not even
It wasn't
colonizer, bro. It's
It
just
wasn't as romanticized as you wish to see it. In,
it's
you know.
assimilation, bro. It's assimilation.
No. All
It's
right,
not.
Jen.
All right, man. I don't know. I guess
Well, hold on.
we're going in
Hold,
circles
hold
here.
on. We got Jay here. Let me see if he has any questions for you. Jay, are you there, brother? Welcome up, manito. ¿Cómo andamos?
Yo. No, I don't have any questions, bro.
All right.
Why'd you come up, man? You got no question.
Well, here,
No,
I actually do have some questions, Jen. Hold on. Where are you located, Jen?
I live in South Texas, right by the border.
Oh, so you're a Tejano.
No, I'm not at the Hanoi. Don't call me that shit. My family's all from Mexico. I'm second generation,
Okay.
güey. Hablo más español que inglés. No, I'm not a Tejano, bro. Not to get. I've heard of that, but no way, no soy Tejano.
So what is? Oh, okay. Can you give me a definition of Tejano? What's the difference?
A Tejano is a Mexican or something like that that has generation family ties here in Texas forever. You know, I'm not that, bro.
Oh, so they do kind of what the FBAs do, right? Talking about that lineage, how many generations they go back. It makes them more legit Americans than the paisano.
Something like that. Yeah, they're cool, bro, but they want to be like the white man a lot, which I don't agree with. You
Right.
know
And
that.
that's how I feel about Mexicans wanting to be Spanish men. You know, they're both Europeans, by the way. But this is kind of like relating back to this question, like who's really an American? Kind of, we can switch it up and say who's really a Mexican, right?
See, the problem
Mhm.
with you saying that Mexicans want to be Spanish or European, like, well, first of all, you do know Mexicans are half Spanish, most of them. So they
Well,
can't
I
be
think that
Spanish. They
percentage is
are
all.
Spanish.
Jen, I think it'd be weird to generalize all people as straight up half. You know, not all
Well,
indigenous
if you look at
were
it,
not all indigenous people were mixed with Spanish. Some fought them off. Some
well,
were
like
not
you're
even
looking
close to
at it,
them.
depends on the
The
individual. If you're looking
Oaxaqueños,
at a Mexicano,
what's up?
well, I know
Sorry.
that. But you're generalizing too, though. You're saying Mexicans want to be Spanish when some of them, most of them, are. They're not. They don't want to be. They are Spanish descent. They're mixed, right? Just like the Black
I think
American.
some
who's
are
mixed
just
with
straight up Spanish,
European.
though, Jen. I think some are just, they're Mexican only due to being born there, but they have that Spanish blood, no admixture. You feel me?
What's the issue with that? I mean, what's the problem with that?
Same issue with white people here in America that think they run shit. But you call it a simulation. You know, I call it colonization.
Bro, have you done a DNA test? Do you know that you might
I
have European blood in you?
I took my father's straight African, but my mother's I'm waiting on it. I'm still waiting on it.
So your father
But
is a
soon
full-blood
enough, I will have an answer for you. You know,
No,
I
I'm saying
know
so.
my.
So
Mhm.
you're saying African. You are you're fully
On my
African.
father's
You're saying.
side, on my mother's side, we got the Afro indigenous.
I'm saying you though.
I
Your
think
father, your paternal lineage. So
grandma has the Afro. My grandfather has like a mix of. He might have a little mestizo there. You know what I mean? So
right.
they're
So
definitely he was a orphan though, so he doesn't know, but he doesn't. He looks indigenous.
no, I agree, bro. But also, yeah, Black Americans, the average Black person has at least 14%, 15% European DNA, paternal lineage.
That's what we've heard. I've heard that too. Even a little bit more,
Yeah,
actually.
you're not
But
you're
I'm
not
not.
really fully African.
I'm sorry.
You're not really fully African. You're mixed, like
Right.
European.
No, not European. But we'll see. We'll see. I can't give you a definite no because I haven't got the results back.
Yeah. So, wait, how the fuck did we get here, man?
So I'm asking you now, our first generation. We'll just turn it to Mexico. I mean, you can do America first, and then we'll go Mexico, or just answer both Mexico and America. Our naturalized first and second generation. Let's say Black immigrants, American or Mexican.
Well, if you're talking about blacks, yeah, they are. I wouldn't say they're Black American because if they just got here, they can't really be counted as Black American.
Well, let me
mean,
tell you something, Jen.
That's my opinion. I mean, do you have
I hear you.
ancestors that were part of the soul music and shit?
You mean chattel slavery? What the fuck? So Jen, listen to me. So Black is a race. American is a nationality. It's not an ethnicity. So any person that was born or naturalized in America that fits under the racial grouping of Black can be essentially a Black American. That's race and nationality included. Right. And then so with these Black Americans now that want to redefine what Black American means because they want to make it a ethnicity. So they try to say Black American is a non-immigrant, non-foreigner. It comes from the lineage. But you can't reinvent something that was already defined, It already included those people. But these people are extra xenophobic and they want to separate themselves because they want to align with Trump is the one that pushed that. Trump was the one's like, I want to help Black Americans, not African Americans. What do you want to be called in front of all these Black voters? And they're like, Black for Trump, Black for Trump. It was pretty funny.
No, I wouldn't agree. I mean, I wouldn't.
But they jumped on that
I guess.
bandwagon, because now he's reinterpreting the 14th Amendment, talking about it was only meant for the children of slaves.
That's great.
So anyways,
right?
he's got these guys on the. Yeah, go ahead.
I caught that. I caught when he said that. Like, I think people are misinterpreting what he said, though, right? When he said it's for the children of slaves. I mean, he's full of shit as well. I don't agree with him. But
Yeah, exactly. It's like you can't. I think he just throws that shit to be to create the divide division, because if he gets people on board with that, then it will give them ammo to kick out anybody else that didn't. But the 14th Amendment, it has all persons. It doesn't say specifically in the amendment that it was meant for the children of slaves, let alone Black people. in America. So if they can reinterpret that and change it, who's to say they can't change it for any other person, right? The due process clause in there and the equal protection. So I mean,
Yeah.
they're too worried about the 14th Amendment. They got the 13th Amendment that re-enslaves them if they commit a crime. So they're not worried about that one.
Fuck. I gotta look that one up.
What's up, guys? What's up, guys? So I'm gonna walk y'all down history a little bit, right?
Hold on, brother. I need to introduce you. So I need a race, ethnicity. It's all good. Race, ethnicity, and where you're from, please.
I guess you could say I'm black. Race, ethnicity, I'm Hispanic, and what was the other one?
Hebrew.
Where you're from?
Oh yeah, I'm from New York.
Oh, you're from New York. Okay.
Yeah. So
you're like Puerto Rican?
No. I'm Dominican.
Okay, cool. Okay, go ahead, bro.
All right, so like let's go to history, down history a little bit, right? You know that in the Constitution got changed up, with the amendment about term limits and stuff like that, presidential term limits. So Constitution can change at any time. You know what I'm saying? Where things are added, 3/5 of a personhood that got changed up. Voting Rights Act got changed up. So maybe it's just time to change up the Constitution a little bit. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes it happens. This is the first time it really happened in our lifetime. But it's what it is to be. Like what I'm saying is that saying all this that I was born here. I was born in America. I'm American, and at the end of the day, I want to feel proud and safe, and kind of like contribute to their own land.
No.
I'm trying to mute you because you have a lot of background noise.
So if
Go ahead, Elon.
Right.
Sorry.
If you like, you good. Like if you from wherever you from, like say you from
It was an open panel, bro.
Turkestan. Say you from Turkestan, right? I want you to be proud to be from Turkestan. I want you to be like, contributing to Turkestan. I want you to be comfortable in Turkestan. I don't want you to feel like you gotta travel all the way to some other country to find safety and find opportunities and all that. I want you to be comfortable where you at, where you from, where you were born, right? Just like I am. Right?
Is he talking to me or who's he talking to?
I think he's just talking in general.
I'm just talking in general. I want, I just want everybody to feel comfortable in their own home. You know what I'm saying? I feel like when you see a lot of people immigrating, that means they're not comfortable in their own home. I feel like, if you have some people who immigrate, right? Yeah, that's natural. But if you got abundance of people, America shouldn't kind of flex that we got so many immigrants, because that means that the countries that the people are coming from aren't the best countries for the people to feel like they could stay. Right? That they feel like, okay, I have to leave because of safety. I gotta leave because of opportunities. I gotta leave for whatever reason to come to,
your point,
somewhere else. Yeah. So my point is that my point being, right, is that people need to go back and fix their government, right? Fix where they at, right? And so that future generations can contribute to their homeland, to where their parents, their grandparents, their great grandparents, and so on and so forth came from, right? And they could rebuild their community. And I feel like if they're in America and they establish themselves in America, I feel like there's gonna be lost people. There's gonna be a whole lost generation back home.
So you're talking about yourself then, right?
No, I'm talking about everybody. I'm talking about everybody. I'm talking about all them All them immigrants. I'm talking about all them
Oh, you say you're
immigrants.
Dominican, bro.
Yeah, but I don't wave the flag or nothing. I don't do none of that because, like I said, I'm not a part of that. Like I don't live there. You know, my
You're
parents
American.
haven't lived there in years. Yeah, like I was born in America, so that's why I wave the American flag. I don't wave the Dominican flag. You know what I'm saying?
I see. No, I see.
Yeah.
All right, all right.
I don't know.
So,
You want to say?
do you want to respond to that, Jen? Because I want to respond to it.
Yeah, I wanted to, but yeah, I think that's wrong, bro. Because they wouldn't leave their countries if it wasn't such a shithole. You know, they can't just leave their country. It's not an easy thing for them. Elohim, whatever your name is. They're actually forced to come to this country because of opportunity, job opportunity.
That's what I'm saying.
It's not.
So
It's
what I'm
not
saying,
like. It's
that's
not like
exactly
you
what I'm
don't think
saying.
they want to help their country, bro. But there's just no opportunity there, man. There's not enough business owners, corporations,
But
I
yeah,
guess, like America.
but why? But why? It's because of the corrupt. There's a lot of corruption in these countries of politicians and whatnot and so forth and so on. So they make it so that people have to leave. You know what I'm saying? Because they hoarding the wealth. They doing all this other stuff. So like I said, it's a lot of corruption going on in these countries that I feel like if everybody comes together in the country and puts a stop to it and puts their foot down and says, you know what, we not tolerating this BS no more, right? We really are not, you know what I'm saying? And this is our home, you know what I'm saying? And and get all that foreign aid and all that foreign influences out. Say, nah, we don't need no help. We can do it ourselves. We could rebuild ourselves. You know what I'm saying? I feel like it could be. I feel like a lot of countries could be. I'm gonna say it. A lot of countries could be great again, or just great. You
Oh
know what I'm
my
saying?
goodness! Oh my goodness, Elohim, and to you too, Jen. I'm disappointed in both of you guys. Let me say this.
What?
Let me say this. Hold on. Okay,
What did I
first
say?
with the shithole country, and then you guys thinking that these countries can't lift themselves by their bootstraps, and they're destabilized for a reason. They've been colonized for a reason. Receiving more foreign aid is not going to help them. That comes with strings attached. Those are the corporations, and they're taking their resources. You know what I mean? So those are all forced migrations, by the way. Okay, those are forced. They don't leave because there's better opportunities. I mean, they do, obviously, but the way you said it, Jen, you're like, they leave their shithole countries for better. Oh, I forget how you put it, but
I didn't
it
say
was,
shit,
it
bro.
was no, you did say shithole. I heard you. But
No, I
regardless of the
didn't,
fact,
bro.
I'd like to think that most of these people could live off the land, could live off their means if things were just fair, but they're not. We have neocolonialism, right? And if you know about that, then there's things that all these other colonists got to get out of their lands, for those people to reown their own resources and their land, and be able to move forward like that, and be in like the competing equal footing with the rest of the nations. You know what I mean? But America is so involved in other people's fucking business, right? Because they're the powerhouse. I mean, next to China. So that's a reason why they get to come over here, because America's destabilized their countries. Then there's refugees, right? And then there's environmental things that happen too, that people move. It's not always because of there's natural disasters that happen. Okay, in America always needs labor, whether it's cheap labor or people that get here on their own merit, right? So
Yeah,
I
that's
feel
what I
like
was
I
saying,
feel what
man.
it is, Elohim. What I think that it is, Elohim, I think that we have like a scarcity mindset. We think that there's not enough for everybody, and and so that's kind of like that's what they always do to us. That they always say that there's not enough for everybody, while they take and take and take, and when I say that, I'm talking about these corporations and these people that take the land, take from the people, take from the Native Americans, You know what I mean? So that's that. Just wanted to give an even playing field there.
Look,
No, and so
that's
okay,
the point.
Elohim. One more thing, Elohim. One more thing. Sorry to interrupt. The whole thing about going back to your country and going to fix it is really just a talking point that YT people do and some of these FBAs do because they really want you to just go self-deport yourself back home. That's the only reason why they put that out there. They really make it seem like you, Elohim, you're already here. You know what they would call you? They'd call you an anchor baby. And they tell you to deport your ass too, whether you had your papers or not. So it's never an end to these people. Those
Yeah,
talking
but
points are obviously, I know the good in it, Elohim. You're like, it would be nice if people would go like fix their countries. That's one thing, but to tell people to relocate to go back somewhere where it is not
no,
good for them to go back, or they've already built enough here in America, would be disingenuous.
no. But what I'm trying to say though is that the experience of, especially the limbo of not further generations, because the further out you are from your immigrant parents, the more established, I guess, quote unquote established you would be in the American society, right? The more Americanized you get, right? But for like first or second gen, or I think it would be second gen, for second gen kids who their parents came from another country, right? So you have that influence directly from your parents, right? But yet and still, you are around this American society. It's kind of like you feel like you're in a limbo, right? Because you're not fully integrated in American society, but then yet and still you're not kind of fully integrated in your parents' society where they came from. So it's like, where do you plant your feet? You know what I'm saying? It's like, that's kind of like where I'm getting at. It's like, maybe it's like, all right, we can go establish ourselves back where our parents are from. You know what I'm saying? And kind of like, because being here is just causing our generation to have this limbo effect. You know what I'm saying? Where we kind of balancing the two. So that's kind of like
I
what
hear
I'm
you.
trying to get out.
I got you. I got you, Elohim. And I'm not saying it's not a bad idea. I think and let me say this before I introduce Lynn and Akfa. Um, I think in most business people, most entrepreneurs, more people with the means can be international, can go, can come back, can build here, can build there. There isn't a limit to it. So I think you can contribute. You can have dual nationality and come and go as you please. I think that's our right to do so. And nobody can tell us when we have to go and when not, especially if we're legit here. They don't have shit to complain about when we're not undocumented. They want us to, like I said, they want us to self-deport. They're mad that they can't deport us because we got our shit. That's why they're trying to turn around, trying to reverse the 14th Amendment. But with that, let's go ahead and introduce Lion.
Oh, yes, yes. Hey, how you guys doing? I was just actually listening to a very interesting topic. Is there a particular topic that you guys discussing about? Questions you're asking, or
Yeah, the
just
question on the prompt there. Can I get your race, your ethnicity, and where you're from, please?
I'm from originally from Somalia.
Okay, cool, bro.
Yeah,
Well,
East Africa. I'm sure you know where you're. Yep. Salam, yes. So,
salamu alaikum. Salam.
yeah. Sorry,
Yeah,
I'm
so
driving. So, okay, who's really an American? Okay.
you're a little
So,
muffled on your mic. You mind coming
oh,
closer to your microphone?
yeah. Can you? Okay, let me say. Okay, can you hear me now? Is it
Yeah, I
better?
hear
Or,
you, man. Yeah,
okay.
it sounds better, Lion. So yeah, the question is really who's an American? Are people that are naturalized or first generation? Are those Black Americans? Can they be Americans?
Yeah,
Can,
I mean, who's an American? I guess it's a legal question. Yeah,
right.
I don't think it's an opinion question. I don't think anyone can just say you are American, you are not. Legally, who's an American? I mean, legally, American is whoever either naturalized or was born here. I guess that's, I'm sure, I think that's a legal question. But being American means, I mean, those who are born here and those who are their great grandparents came from here, and they might feel different. But I myself, I came here not too long ago, and I became an American citizen by naturalized. And you still gonna have language barrier, you still gonna have cultural barrier. Normally, the first generation they struggle a lot, and they don't feel they're an American, and they don't feel they are from wherever country they're from. They're in between. But their kids, they're gonna feel 100% American. Just like the gentleman who's talking earlier, he's from Dominican. He feels an American, but his parents, they're gonna feel the same way I'm feeling. You're gonna have you're in a country and you are legally American citizen, you're a taxpayer, what you will basically pledge allegiance, you protect, if the country needs you, and but at the same time, there's people in this country don't see you as an American because they see you have a different culture, you dress differently, and basically you're not gonna feel American if you see people looking at you differently. You're gonna say, hey, maybe I'm in the wrong place. Sometimes you're gonna feel that way. But the second generation, they're gonna integrate and assimilate, and they become just like the mainstream American, and they're not gonna feel any pressure. They're not gonna feel any different. So that's where I land.
Okay, thank you, Lion. And I think you hit the nail on the head with the first thing that you said too about the legal definitions. I think that's where we can at least go to when we have to double check if we're American or not. Because we're not going to go based off opinions. We're not going to go based off people's beliefs about what that means to them. If it's on paper, then it's legit. And I think you're also right about the cultural differences and the our values, our morals, our language, our food, everything in culture, right? So there definitely that. But I mean, it's like who's to say who's more American than the next person? These Europeans that came here, they're immigrants themselves, settlers. They want to call it settlers to kind of normalize it, but they're invaders. So no one, I mean, besides the Native Americans, nobody has a legit claim for this, this stolen land, as they say. But no, I like your answer. I like your answer to that line. Let's look.
Who's here first? I mean, if the question is who is here first, even that question is a lot of people from. I'm from Africa, and in the African continent, there was before Christopher Columbus, there was a relationship. I mean, there was a traveling between Africa and this part of the world. That time was not called America. I think it was called something else. I forgot the name, but who was here first? Even the Native Americans were here first. Before even the Christopher Columbus, there were people from Africa used to come here, and that history was erased and deleted from.
I really want to. I mean, before we go down that rabbit hole, Lion, because I mean that'll turn this whole thing into something else. A lot of us.
First, that's the question. A lot of people will. That's why they say you're not American enough because you are here first.
Right, exactly. Let me introduce Nakfa, but I do want to say there's a T-Dog over here. We're talking about, well, if you look at Google, it says Black Americans are more American than the white Americans. I don't. It depends what you include as Black Americans, because Black American again is inclusive to naturalized or people that were born here that come from the Black diaspora that racially are Black. So for you to try to make Black American a ethnicity, that's a whole nother ballgame. And would I say that I would say, I mean, you guys came here together, right? Those are your peoples too. That's part of your lineage. So that's what the FBA say. That's what the new Black Americans say. The ones that say that they're not foreigners, they're not immigrants. So that's my answer to you, T. John. Nakfa, thanks for waiting. Welcome to the panel. Salam, salam.
Salam, salam, get baho. Hey, I told you I get you over 10K likes.
Hey, thank you. I really appreciate it. You and Jay, thank you guys. Yeah,
Nah,
everybody hit
it's
the likes, please.
me.
Join them in on the likes. Let's get the
That's
algorithm going.
mostly me. But this FBA shit is a joke. Let's be real, man. I think it's comical. There's no legal ramifications. You get behind FBA, you're gonna be caught in the sauce. You're gonna be caught in the whirlwind. You know what I mean? You're gonna be put in a guillotine, chokehold, a armbar. You name it, that's gonna happen. So I find it amusing. All of the I was watching a documentary earlier on W.E.B. Du Bois, right? And he was the first black African American to be part of Harvard and to graduate. And what he had to face, right? And these people were around in like the 1800s to the early 20th century, and they never once said none of this crazy stuff. We're not connected to Africa. We're FBA indigenous, blah, blah, blah. None of them said that, right? But yet we got these Johnny come latelys now telling us, oh, my grandma, really? So how come the most scholared African American didn't say that, but your grandma knew? So, to me, I think this whole thing is a joke. It's a CIA. It really is once you understand who was truly behind this, and you start following the receipts, right, or follow the money. You'll see even your boy Tariq Nasheed. He has a storefront in L.A. There ain't nobody pushing no history or no information still to this day. There's an interesting individual by I think he goes by Morris TV, and he's been clowning FBA and Tariq for the past 2 years now. Tariq even took him to court. It's a whole skit about it. So for me, like I said, man, be proud of who you are, but don't retwist history. Don't revisionize it. None of the elders that are scholared, that are educated, that look like us, ever said any of the things that these Johnny come latelys are saying today. And I'll land it with that.
Those facts, big facts. I love that Johnny come lately. I don't know where's that saying come from. But regardless, yeah, either way, I was gonna say, yeah. Again, these FBAs. Oh, you know what? It's interesting. I was on another panel with these indigenous folks, right? These American Indians, and the black ones, and so they are saying that they are not FBA, that they are not even black. They say black is a misnomer, another classification. So I have more respect for those black people that are gonna disown blackness and disown FBA completely and be their own group, so at least they can stay in their lane. If you're not black, then you're not African. You're not going to get this reparations check because that one's only included in the transatlantic slave trade. It does not pertain to you, and so it's like less people to fight. But they're also on our team because they don't like the FBAs at all. You know what I mean? Not that they're on our team, but at least we can see the distinction because there's some FBAs that are still double dipping. And I think that was Tyreek, my boy, Tyreek. I think that was his goal to double dip, triple dip in all these different lineages. He's got the African one, he's got the Aboriginal Native one, and the European one. So, and all those lineages, except for the African one, are the only ones that can get the claim for the reparations. And I mean, at the end of the day, that's what all this is for, sadly, unfortunately, But it's interesting. And same with the Black Americans. The Black Americans got mad at me because I had this crazy prompt. I know you've probably seen it before. Right there. I don't know. Oh, well, anyways. Oh, this is not a good view because Give me a sec. Give me a sec. Oh, okay. You can barely see it, but you see the second dog down there just watching. He's like ready. He's just looking at the FBA dog. That's the Black American dog. That's those are the Black Americans that say that they're not foreign, they're not immigrants, but they claim the lineage, and they're for they're how do I put this? They're trying to make Black American a ethnicity when African American is already their ethnicity, right? So, and the FBAs are the ones that obviously are the aggressive ones attacking their own people that call themselves African American and try to delineate from the term African American, convince them they're not African. And I'm saying there's still 50 million African Americans. They're not FBA. they're not called. I mean, they're calling themselves Black and African American. As an ethnicity. So they're trying to delineate from that. They delineate from Black American too because they knew Black American was compromised. So that's why they made foundational Black American. And so I be repeating the shit. I don't know. It hit me somewhere where I'm like, I just got to make sense of all this shit. They're just like, no, it can't be. No, it's an ethnicity. I'm like, where is it? Pull it up and show me it's an ethnicity. And so again, they're trying to redefine with their opinions and what they want, what they think it ought to be, and they think that they are the premium. They are the premium Black people. They are the true Americans. So they're redefining those terms for everybody, but white people will always see them as they see them. You know what I mean? White people will look at them and just be like, "What are you talking about?" White people will always look at them as second-class citizens. But somehow they think they align with them. Somehow, some way they think they're gonna be able
Yeah,
to.
can I ask you a question? So the
Go ahead.
FBA, yeah, FBA. I was listening some guys saying that we are FBA, and they were excluding everybody. Like they were saying Biggie, his parents were Haitian, or and they say Biggie is not African. He's not one of us. Obama is not one of us. Even MLK, Malcolm X, and no, sorry, not Malcolm X. Martin Luther King. They were saying like his parents from somewhere in the Caribbean, so he's not even one of us. So who are they? Who is enough? Who they're excluding everybody. So is it like how's that even gonna make sense for what they're saying is because all the historical figures and
Oh
his
shit.
parents from somewhere else they're excluding us. They're not saying they're saying that not one of us. So I don't understand who is FBA.
That's why I'm kind of not like I
Hold
feel
on,
like
Passion. Hold on, Passion. I have to introduce you, but let me answer him first, though, just to be clear. So they're claiming a specific timeline. They're claiming the 1600s when chattel slavery started. They want to start at that trauma timeline right there. They don't want to look. They don't want to go back any further than that. So again, it's their interpretation of who suffered the most with the YT man. And so what is that? How many generations is that back? So you got to be that
Because there are people who suffer in the Caribbean, there are people who suffer in other parts in Africa.
right. But they're trying to claim this. They're trying to claim this American European. They're saying this is our oppressor. This one can't be yours. And they're saying this happened in America. It didn't happen in the Caribbeans. It didn't happen in Africa. But they don't think about the triangle trade and how Europeans amongst themselves split up the land, split up the slaves, split up the resources, right?
it
They don't
happened
think about that
everywhere.
shit.
Just
Yeah.
colonialism in general happened everywhere.
Exactly. But these people want to start here because they think I don't know, this is the FBA ideology, when we talk about African American as a ethnicity, it says the descendants of enslaved Africans, right? So as soon as they got off the boat is when they're starting that ethnicity. So
I
I think
mean, it could
for that
maybe if
specific ethnicity, it should be owed and due. Okay, I'm not saying they're not owed the reparations from whoever, from these Europeans that did that. But the Europeans have voted no on even acknowledging slavery. They were promised a 40 acres and a mule, never got it. I don't see, by them being xenophobic, by them delineating, I don't see like they're gonna get I know they're just afraid that other black people are gonna get in on this. So they're trying to guard it, you know what I mean?
also
So
there were free Africans as well. Like, wasn't Crispus Attucks and in the north, like for instance, like there
all
weren't
right.
every black person wasn't enslaved
Right,
in
that too.
America.
That too, Passion. Passion, go ahead and introduce yourself to the viewers and the panelists with your race, ethnicity, and where you're from, please.
Um, I'm Caribbean. I'm Trinidadian. I am 29 from Miami, Florida. Um, sorry, I forgot what I was gonna say. No, I was just gonna say I think that like this whole, division is a microcosm of like every ethnicity has their intra-ethnic conflicts, and like as a human race, like we're never gonna evolve. Like this is why the ETs like they don't want to contact us because like we're so like busy arguing over who's a FBA and who's an authentic African American, etc. That like we literally have UFOs flying through the sky. Like we have the government disclosing that there's like all of these different ET races that have contacted us. I'm not trying to go down a rabbit hole and like, make this a tangent, but I'm just saying like I feel like as a human race, like we really need to evolve past this because everybody to some degree, if you take a DNA test, and I'm not advertising it, but like hardly anyone is 100% anything. So like even white people have like some minor percentage of African. Like that is just the reality of human genetics. So like nitpicking and focusing so heavily on, well, I'm FBA, well, I'm this, well, it's like, bro, like, yes, like embrace your history, embrace your roots, your ancestry. I think that's amazing. Celebrate it. But to like, especially when we're dealing with all forms of supremacy and stuff, still as a human collective, like to have that within the community, I think is extremely, it's like self-destructive.
Okay, thanks for that submission. I think first and foremost, I think the UFO files that Trump put on us were all phony, and he's not. They've already been debunked, a lot of them, but
Bro, they even
I know
asked
they got some
Obama
real
about
shit somewhere. But they're
UFOs in
not. They
Area
haven't released
51.
shit. They haven't released shit that we've seen better shit than the shit that they
Is he
released.
using it as a
But
political bargaining chip to
of
distract
course,
from
it's
everything?
definitely a
100,
distraction.
but
Definitely a
hello, that
distraction.
doesn't mean that this shit isn't real, and it hasn't been real
I'm
for
not saying
decades
it's
and
not
decades and
real. Passion. I'm
decades.
not saying it's not real. I'm saying that we already have evidence that they're really hiding a lot of shit. Let's see that Epstein file though. Why they're
Oh, I
fucking
agree.
throwing
Let's
that
see all
shit
of
in the
it.
face.
Trump is just like a business expert who's gonna say this is the perfect time to release this, and I can stamp my name on
Right.
it so that people could say, "Look, Trump released the UFO files. He released the episode." And it's like we know this. Like we know he's like an evil Machiavellian, like fucking weirdo. But that doesn't mean,
Right.
and that doesn't take away the fact that all of this stuff is real. It's a reality, and like we as a human species have the ability to expand our consciousness to allow for that kind of disclosure and
Right.
contact and upgrading of our planet and of our race to take place. And like I don't want to go on for too long, but I'm just saying I feel like whether it's the FBA thing, whether it's just any form of racial politics in general, that becomes like a fixation and like a negative kind of obsession. I think that it takes us away from expanding and evolving as a human collective, just in general.
I
Yeah.
got you,
So
Passion. Let's Line,
my
let me introduce this. Let me
yeah, go
introduce Spam real quick, and then we'll have an open panel. Spam, I didn't mean to invite you, Spam, but you're more than welcome to come up. Do you want to introduce yourself with your race, ethnicity, where you're from?
I mean, I just had a question, but my race is black. Ethnicity, I'm Eritrean, and I'm from England, so. But I just had
Okay.
a question for you. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, Jay kind of answered it, but I don't really see the issue. Like, if people want to say their ethnicity is Black American, I don't really see the issue. I mean, let them do what they want. I mean, I can kind of see how FBA is in some, like, some people are a bit of an issue. I mean, I've seen some of them, and I did see you get grilled on that live, by the way, with that prompt. But I just don't see how it's such an effect on your life. No, like,
Again, I said I'm Black American by definition, right? The definition is Black as a race, American as a nationality. They can't take a race and a nationality and make it into an ethnicity. They have African American already. They're just so anti-African that they don't even want it in their name. So again, I'm for anybody creating their own groups, their own ethnicities, but they claim they want to be recognized as that. So by default, they're gonna exclude people from their blackness. They're gonna say, we're the true Black people, you're not. We're the true Americans, you're not. So that's why it's so problematic. And now they have FBA, which is another thing that groups up nationalities, ethnicities, and races. Like, it groups them all together, and they claim to have a mixed heritage. They're ethnogenesis, so they got 3 different lineages. How are you the top Black premium Black person, and you have all this mixed heritage?
How pervasive, really,
they want
though,
to claim.
is
Is it
the?
like they want to claim like?
Hold on, Passion.
Are they gonna claim like
Hold
you
on.
know how some?
Hold on. I just to get it through.
Yeah, go ahead.
I just want to land on. I'm just saying, guys. And I've gotten from other people too, like from the diaspora. They're like, well, why are you telling them what to do? I'm getting confirmation from African Americans. I'm getting confirmation from African Americans, and like I said, by default, Black Americans too. That say we don't want to be FBAs. These guys are crazy. This ideology is crazy. We don't have a problem with being called African American. We have an affinity to Africa.
That's what I was gonna.
It's not the majority. It's not the majority of Black people in America that feel this way. It's this fringe group called the FBA, and now these Black Americans that are claiming they're indigenous to America. So again, and they're trying to erase other indigenous people's culture. I call them the pretendians, even though I know white people were the true pretendians. They already
I
beat you
feel
to the
like it's
punch. They're
such
already
a tiny
intermarried.
sliver, though, of
They
people.
already
Like,
are.
it's not even a statistically significant. Like, to be honest, maybe it's my algorithm. I don't see the FBA chats. Like, I only ever see your live.
really?
But even in discourse, even on X,
He's not on here
FBA,
like
Twitter,
that, I guess.
No, I
or
see
maybe
them.
it's
Yeah, if it's
They
not
be
on your
lying
algorithm,
a lot, to be honest.
no, if it's not on your algorithm, like if you filter your algorithm right, like you won't have them. I have an account just for that, so I'm not always thinking about FBA, because this account and my other account, I'm following different creators, and it always brings me back to FBAs. So it does kind of
Yeah.
feel
Yeah,
like the FBAs have overpopulated. Go ahead.
I have a lot
I
of
used
like
to see them. I
Hold
used
on,
to see
Passion.
them a
Let
lot.
Lion get a word
I
in.
used to see them a
Go ahead.
lot when Trump was this, saying bad things about Somali community, in Minnesota and some other states.
Oh yeah, they
These
don't like
groups,
Somalia.
these groups, they came up like 100 rooms, and they almost have the similar topic. They would say, like almost the same question, like identical. Like these people get paid for saying all these things. So that time I had a suspicion that these big rooms with 500 people, 1,000 people, they're all actors that get paid to say all these things by the whoever, whatever. So at
I
that time I used to see them a lot, but not I don't see them that much these days, because I don't think a lot of people, especially African American people, they're not buying that kind of things. Because they see these groups as a MAGA, MAGA, or like not every
that's
white person.
crazy.
yeah, not every white T person is a MAGA. You know that. So not every black person or African American person feels that these groups they represent the mainstream. Because
I
the things
think.
they say,
Ooh,
are very extreme. It's not
yeah.
gonna politically it's gonna weaken the African American. They actually
Oh, it already
working
has so
against.
much. It already has so much.
So
Like
politically,
forget
actually,
forget
they're
Kamala
working
ever having a
against.
political future.
Yeah, because
Because
they're even saying
it's made
Kamala is
everybody
not one of
else.
us.
It's
They
made
yeah, they
Oh,
excluded.
I'm just
They
gonna.
excluded. Yeah,
You guys.
they excluded
I wanna.
everybody.
Let
Can you
me
hear me?
see here.
Okay. Is my
I
Yeah,
mic?
I hear you.
Is
I
my
hear you, brother.
microphone? Is my microphone better now?
yeah, a
It's
little.
still a little muffled, but you good.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. Go ahead, guys. Yeah.
I was gonna say, I think as well, a lot of the talking points I do see from FBA, they really just regurgitate, like they just re-say a lot of white supremacist ideologies. But obviously, I can't say too much in it. But when they're talking about preserving the black race, they're talking about a lot of the points. It really is just, I mean, I can't really say the word, but like it's Nazi ideology, and it's a bit weird. I can't like, and they be over policing all black people in the world, and it's just so weird because one of like, do you know that Wildest Girl vibes? Because she was talking to you, I swear.
Is Dr. Umar Johnson a FBA? Like, is that what we're talking about?
No, he's not.
Nah, he's like a pan-Africanist or something like
Well,
that,
but
right?
now he recently made a video where he is using FBA talking points. So, but he doesn't self-identify as such.
Who is that, Jay?
Umar Johnson. I sent you the video where he recently started using FBA talking points, even though he doesn't officially, like, it's not his self-identification. He's previously been more Pan-African, but I think he's starting to see that that's no longer a popular, I guess, position to have. So he seems like he's starting to talk more like an FBA.
Damn.
No way.
Yeah,
So
I sent you the video, bro. You just didn't read
yeah.
watch
So
it.
the
It was there.
FBA.
Okay, I'll
With my
watch. I'll watch it.
So the FBA, they use sometimes legitimate points, and they add like 10, one true and 99 lies. So
But why
sometimes
don't
they have. Sometimes
why
they
don't
have.
I see these people on CNN? Like, why don't they have any mainstream? Is Tariq Nasheed on the news ever?
They had one Tucker Carlson thing where he gave him a shout out, and Colton. Oh, these are all white
And
nationalists, by the way.
Coulter.
But it's funny, every time they bring them up, they're not bringing up FBA. I mean, they're not bringing up like people to talk about the group. They're inserting them in their fucking white nationalist talking points about immigrants. So it's pretty obvious that they're just a talking piece for these people, and
Honestly,
they kind of like
what
gave them
I
a
feel
shot.
like the best strategy to deal with these people is, quite frankly, just to ignore them, because like I don't really ever see them. Like, I feel like the more oxygen you give them, because it's clearly not a successful, political movement. It's clearly not an ascendant ideology. So it's like you kind of just gotta let things fizzle out. Like, I don't really see where this goes. But like, if you look at even politically, it's like, okay, Obama, like Kamala Harris, like these are the black political figures that we have, and none of them are quote unquote FBAs. So like, I just don't really see who the chief FBAs are that actually are influencing politics, or you know, I guess culture even, but like in culture is like no one is talking about this in culture. Like, people are just creating their art of whatever variety. So I'm just kind of like, I don't know, man. I would just not really pay attention to them. Is that crazy? Did I just kill the vibe?
Well, I just got back.
No, I was
Passion,
just
you always
saying.
kill the vibe. Passion talking about aliens and shit.
No, I know. I'm very. That's my energy. It's kind of all or nothing. But no, I was just saying like you should just ignore these people, bro, because they don't have any power. Like they don't actually have any influence. Like people would take you more seriously, like right wing people, than they would Tariq Nasheed or any of the people that you're talking about, in my opinion.
Dude, Jay, I fucking deleted that video with me confronting those guys at on their panel because you said, that it was kind of problematic. But I forgot that I erased the original one, so now I can't even go back. I needed that for talking points, man. I needed that because they were so hard. I mean, I took notes too about what happened because I wrote something up on it, but I lost the footage, bro.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Who is
Passion,
the
I
most
don't
famous
do this
FBA?
to fucking.
So, Passion, what I would say to that
Hold
is
on.
that although FBA itself, that particular moniker may not be popular, I am starting to see, at least in certain places, because of the anti-immigrant political stance that's currently, I would just call it populism, which is currently in vogue right now. You do see people who, although they're not self-identifying as FBA, they are siding with populism, which in and of itself is anti-immigrant. So there's some overlap there with what the FBA talking points
I
are.
see what you're saying.
You understand?
I mean, yes, I do hear what you're saying. Do you think though that immigration policy, like I understand that there is a lot of different geopolitical nuance to immigration policy, but I don't necessarily think that having an open door policy is good for any nation, like even African nations. I just think it's kind of like, yes, we want to have immigrants, but you also need to be able to, validate and vet the people that are coming into the country. Wouldn't you agree?
So I'm looking at it from the perspective of not a question of open doors or the actual policy, but it from a conceptual issue of when people start talking about what is an American, like the prompt is saying, because when they say that, the question is not asking it from the legal perspective of whether or not you were a citizen or not, because that's pretty black and white. Either you're a naturalized citizen or you were born in the United States or you're a citizen. That's it. They're talking about it from some social perspective, which of course is a very nebulous concept because each and every individual is going to have their own values surrounding why they would, what they're going to define as what makes someone an American.
Of
Now,
course.
so when these populist arguments come up, they're always talking about that social identity. They're never talking about the legal status because, again, the legal status is prescribed. So it's not up for debate. Either the law says it or it doesn't. They want to say that despite the fact that maybe someone was either naturalized as an American citizen or they were born in this country and perhaps their parents were immigrants, that person is not in a quote unquote American from the social perspective or whatever. And then they'll list their reasons why. So,
I see what you're saying,
and then you get into the situation of the usage of black. Now, we've had some people on here that are from whose parents are Somali, but they were born in the United States, and yet they've been told, well, you can't say you're black or black American because that refers to some type of nebulous concept of Americanness that this person doesn't possess. And again, depending on who you talk to, whether they're self-identify, and this isn't just people who self-identify as FBA. You have people who self-identify as indigenous, people who self-identify as Black American, even people who self-identify as African American. I've heard them say, well, they conjure up some social usage of the term American and claim this person, or Black American rather, and say this person can't claim that because they don't fit their criteria. So that's usually that's usually where I see the friction here is on these, that everyone wants to have their own social definition of what it means to be an American, what it means to be a Black American, and so on and so forth. And that's where the issues lie. I think that
Sure.
and to be quite honest with you, I think the only reason this wouldn't have been an issue, perhaps, let's say 60 years ago, is because 60 years ago, when you actually had de jure segregation, you didn't get a choice. The government assigned races, so there wasn't a question of what you identify as. You were
Of course,
prescribed a
yeah.
race, and that was it. So persons who came from, let's say, Nigeria would be prescribed to the race black. So it wasn't a question of, oh, do you identify or not? You are what the government said you are. And that entailed what privileges, what rights or lack thereof you had in this country. So it wouldn't have been an issue 60, 70 years ago. But now, with identity politics and the abrogation of the racial laws, now you have a situation where people want to create some social identity around these racial concepts that were also legally prescribed themselves originally.
Of course, yeah.
And your thought process, Jay, helped me deconstruct a lot of these social 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 standards that we put on ourselves, right? And I think for you, Passion, why spend so much time talking about this? Jay asked me the same question, I find it so problematic for the youth, people coming up in this space and hearing this rhetoric and believing it and
I
thinking
mean,
that this is
yeah.
how black people just think. Like, this is, oh, we're calling ourselves foundational. Okay, let's swing through it. You know what I mean? So that's
It
what it
just
comes
sounds
down
kind
to.
of dated, and I think that there's so much like lack of understanding, and the through line that I sense is just that trying to police people's ability and their agencies to self-identify is not good. Like that's kind of problematic. Like I feel like specifically when it comes to race, like obviously you have legal definitions and you have prescriptive definitions for the purpose of census collection or just identifying people on a passport or whatever it is. But when it comes down to like, especially within the community, just let people identify the way that they want to identify. And it becomes a problem when it's like policed and enforced. And I guess that is the imagery that you kind of have been using on your prompts. Like, stop policing people's self identity, truly, because at the end of the day, it's all just etymology that is highly relative. And, you know, like what black is to one person might be different than what black is to another person or another set of people. Like it's very localized, I think, and it's very, I think we should have more grace for people's self identity, and they're going to be legally defined regardless. So when it comes to just on an individual basis, like a personal basis of how you identify, I think the biggest problem probably is with this conversation. I'm talking about race specifically because then people want to go into like gender and sex, and I'm not talking about any of that. I'm honing in on the race thing. I think allowing people the agency to self-identify is important.
Yeah, so I've seen it on both sides, unfortunately. The self-identified FBA people, will try to prescribe an identity for people, but then you have people that are, identify as black, but they, come from the African continent that also do it too. Now they have their different ways how they do it, but they both do it. And my whole issue with that is as you're pointing out, why are people prescribing for other people as opposed to just saying, okay, well, if you want to identify
Totally.
with that, that's fine. But what I've noticed is that they always try to pull, they always try to cite what they believe is somehow some type of, like, in other words, they want to ground their assertion on something that's objective, but they end up misusing the data in a way that doesn't support their assertion. And that happens on both sides. And that's the issue, because they think that social identity is somehow an objective thing when it's not. It's subjective because humans make it up.
And I'll
So
be
you don't,
so real
we
with you, Jay.
humans are the ones who create these boundaries when it comes to people. Nature doesn't
One,
do that. So,
right.
they're going to have, as I said before, each group, human group is going to have their own customs criteria for deciding who's in and who's out. That varies from place to place. There's no objectivity in that. You have to go from each group to figure it out. So when I hear people who claim to be FBA or people who are, from Africa saying, oh no, there's an objective blackness or there's an objective Africanness, I just shudder because it's just completely false.
And it's just ignorant too. And to me, it reads as someone who hasn't really traveled, who doesn't really have a passport, who doesn't have a very vast conception of what it means to be a citizen of the world, because you understand that like nobody got to America unless you really are Native American through and through, and even those people like migrated across Pangea however many eons ago. So it's just like, to me it just reads as someone who doesn't really, has never left the country and probably doesn't really have, like, it's almost on par with like flat earth theory levels of understanding of the reality that we live in. You know what I mean?
It's more so has to do with a certain paradigm that you subscribe to. And unfortunately, many people, especially people that have been socialized within the United States, especially, they have been indoctrinated with this racial paradigm as looking at it in the sense that it's as if it's an objective thing, an objective reality. So when they're talking about it, they keep using these terms, but they're talking about it as if somehow this is some universal concept, that if they go anywhere else in the world, this is just how the world is, when in fact it's not. It's relative to the place you were socialized in. And in the United States, there's a specific racial construct that anyone who's been born and raised here has been exposed to. You cannot get away from it. If you were born and raised in this country, I don't care where your parents are from, you have absorbed this construct as well because it was fed to you through the U.S. media and through the education system. You understand? Because if you look at the way that they talk, even when they're talking about the issues in our country and things of that nature, they're using these racial concepts as if they are some type of objective reality. So it gets you thinking, oh, well, this is just how everything is everywhere you go. When in fact, it's not. It's only it only is meaningful within its own context. And that context is the United States of America. So you can't take those concepts and map them onto the rest of the world, because the rest of the world, depending on where you are, works from their own paradigms, their own ways of thinking, their own perspectives. They don't look at everything through the American lens of race. Do you understand? So therefore, when and the people who seem to understand that, those are the people who will then try to jump to, oh, well, we're going to define this in some type of objective sense now. So we're going to talk about blackness in an objective sense, or Black Americanness in an objective sense, because we have people on there that try to, here on this panel, who try to do that. And that's how we're going to delineate, and we'll have something objective, so it won't be just some subjective social construct. But that's also ends up being subjective because, again, they are cherry picking data to support their assertion.
Right. And Black people are very influential and they do sway public opinion, so they think they make up the majority of Black people in America. So for them to assume that with this FBA ideology is where it becomes problematic.
Well, I think that what it is they assume that what the so-called FBAs are doing, at least the ones we've seen on this panel, is because they do differ. Some of them claim Africanness as an ancestry. Some of them say no, right? Indigeneity. But I think what they all kind of share in common is they're trying to turn it into a objective reality. They're trying to turn this social identity into something objective. So therefore they can exclude somebody and say, well, you're not FBA because you weren't. But then all the criteria they list are subjective. I mean, when you say, oh, well, if you say, well, you can't, this Somali person who's was born here can't be FBA because FBA means your family, you have to trace your family back to, let's say, the 1700s. Well, that's a subjective criteria. You just created a rule. 1700s. Well, why can't we use 1600s? Why can't we use 1800s? Exactly. What's so special about that? It's your own rule. It's a subjective thing. There's nothing objective about that. That's just a line you drew in the sand and you decided. But if I ask another FBA, they're going to have a different year. So what do you get what I mean? So they try to present it as if it's something objective when it's all subjective. And I would respect them more if they said, hey, well, we acknowledge it's subjective and this is just, we want our own little group. Okay, fine. But don't come and try to pretend like, oh, you're saying something that's objective as if, in other words, don't pretend like this is just your opinion. Because that's all it is at the end of the day. It's your opinion. You want your opinion to have, like, I guess, the force of law or something, essentially.
Yeah, and validated by a man that created it, you know?
Right.
Or at least all these concepts and all these talking points, you know? Because they just repeat them verbatim. Well, that conversation last night, man, that shit went all over the place.
Oh,
with
yeah.
Ngozi and De Gaulle. Oh, my God.
Well, no, no, that was actually the Black Energy in the Gaulle, is what it was.
Oh, well, it started with Black Energy, right?
Because Black Energy was saying all this esoteric stuff, and the Gaulle, that's right up his alley. So then he started challenging that, and then it moved on to Ngozi. But Ngozi was the lady who was the tax accountant lady, so she had her own thing. But as I explained to Gaulle, I told him, I said, look, her job depends on her not believing what you're saying, so you have to take that into account. Because she said she's a tax accountant. Remember, she was like, oh, I would love to, if the U.S. government is a corporation, I would love to be their tax accountant. Remember, because that's how she makes her money. That's her livelihood. So, so she has to accept certain things, and that's just what it is.
Certain boundaries, certain limitations.
Certain limitations, right. Yeah, so.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's so funny. Yeah, it's fine. It's fine, T-Dog. You can sit and listen.
Oh, he said he was, What happened to Knoxville? He was on here and he disappeared.
I know. He be doing that.
Oh, okay.
He's got a kid.
Yeah. So like T-Dog, for example, you say, can I go to Somalia and become Somalia? Well, it would be Somali. Well, that depends on their laws. First of all, if by Somali you mean a citizen of that country, well, if they allow anyone to come there and through their process become a citizen, then you would be a Somali citizen. Now, if you mean Somali from some type of social sense, then I would say no, because socially, obviously, if you're not born and raised up in a society, you don't know how they move, you don't know their language, so no, you wouldn't be. But that's not what. But when it comes to FBA, they seem to be trying to make it some type of objective thing. And that's the difference.
You got an accent. Right. You don't sound like a Black American.
Because nobody from the African continent is claiming that they're socially Black American in the sense that they were raised up amongst Black Americans, eating food associated with Black Americans and that kind of thing. So that's why it's a disingenuous thing that you're trying to say, because that's not even how the FBAs even frame it. They never say that. There's no African that's like, oh yeah, we're socially Black American just like you. I mean, that's pretty much obvious. And that's never even been the argument.
Yeah. And including Black people in America are not a monolith. Even the so-called Black American, the one that they're trying to reinterpret now as an ethnicity,
Right.
They all have a different twang. They all have different, I don't want to say culture, but I kind of do, because they all, come from different religious denominations, right?
Right.
They all make their food a little different, Maybe it's the same, maybe it's not. Maybe it's a mix of different foods too. And then we're not taking into account all the ones that are bi-ethnic, that are Black, Black American and have African influences or Caribbean influences, right?
Right.
So that's the thing that they want to dismiss and be like, if you got to be full FBA, 100% FBA.
So T-Dog is saying FBA is a description of our people being here at the beginning of the country. Well, again, T-Dog, that's a subjective definition. You were drawing the line at beginning of country, so I'm assuming you mean 1776, but you'll have other FBAs that say have different lines. There is no objective definition of FBA, and that is my point. So you can say that, somebody else is going to say something else. So you're just giving me your values, bro. That's fine. That's great. But it doesn't tell me anything objectively, because another FBA is going to say something totally different than you. I agree that you're right. African American is not African American depending on how you mean it. Historically, it was just a synonym for Negro, so it was a legal concept. But now it can mean anything. So I agree with you on that. But yeah, so Vibes, what were you saying?